What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to a Boston Movie Geeks movie review. We're coming at you with a review of Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm Kevin Duffy, your host tonight, and I can't do this thing alone. I've got a multiverse of guests coming in. First up, let's bring in Chris the Criminal Crow. What's up, man?
What's going on?
So, it's been a while since we've done a review type show, but I know that you've seen Spider-Man twice now before doing this, so you should have quite a bit of knowledge for us.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. It's the only movie this year I've actually been excited to talk about. So
yeah, I feel like this is definitely a different movie, like across the board. Like everybody was just waiting for this movie to like bring movies back, but I don't know if it really did because I don't think anything else.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially with COVID. I mean, this is the first like theater experience, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as we get into it. But this is like the first theater experience I've had in a while.
Yeah, so it really was a theater experience. It was awesome. What was your favorite before seeing this movie? What was your favorite Spider-Man movie to date?
Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
Yep, sweet. All right, bring in your next guy here. We're gonna bring in Matt Garcia. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how's it going, Duff?
What up?
Not much. What are we talking about again?
We're talking about Spider-Man No Way Home.
No way.
Yeah. So when did you see it?
I saw it Thursday night. I've only seen it once, but I've seen a lot of the bootleg reaction videos that are all over online now. So
crazy that those are.
I feel like I've seen it multiple more times than I want to see. I want to see more of it on the big screen rather than my iPhone.
Yeah, I know, right? What was before this movie? What was your favorite Spider-Man movie prior to this? Out of all,
it's still probably like Spider-Man 2, and then like it's like a tie between Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Verse.
Okay. Yeah, no, those are definitely top contenders for me too. But I assume that we'll get into the nitty-gritty of whether or not how we felt about this film. But let's get Adam out here and get this thing really going. What up, Adam?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
So, Adam, you and I have been talking quite a bit about this movie in hushed tones at work.
Exactly. This is going to feel nice to actually be able to just like, oh, you remember that thing? That thing was cool.
Yeah, we're like literally using codes so our coworkers who haven't seen it aren't like blown away by it. But all right,
this was the first movie I've seen at theaters in probably 2.5 years.
Wow.
I think the last movie I saw in theaters, truthfully, was the live-action remake of The Lion King.
No, that would send you away from the theaters, not wanting to come back.
So you had a big return. You had a return in a big way.
Yes, I was waiting for something that was worthy of my time, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, it was quite a time at the movies. Adam, what was your favorite Spider-Man movie prior to seeing this one?
Hands down, Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah, no, I think it's as much, Spider-Man 2, great, awesome movie, but Spider-Verse just did it for me.
Yeah, I would have said Spider-Verse, but I was keeping it live action.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I will kind of echo all you guys. I think Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2 were probably my favorite Spider-Man movies to date prior to seeing this one. I do love Homecoming though, so like that kind of has a soft. That kind of crept up there on Spider-Man 2 for me a little bit, but this movie I couldn't wait for. I'll tell you what though, one of my concerns before this movie even started was, is it going to be just another version of Into the Spider-Verse? It's a Sony property. Sony did very well with Into the Spider-Verse, well received, made a lot of money. It seemed like they were just doubling down with the live action Spider-Man to do the same
Spider-Verse
thing.
didn't do as much as you would think it did, but like it did, it did win the Oscar, so that helped.
Yeah, but I mean, like just in general, like I off the bat, I was like, they're just doubling down on their formula for the Spider-Verse now. They think that this will carry over into this movie, so I was a little concerned that it was going to be bogged down, especially when they were announcing all these villains. Although it was worthwhile when they were announcing these villains for like, who else is going to be in this movie? And then it's like people were showing the memes of Uncle Ben. It's like, he won't be in the movie.
Right.
that was worthwhile. But I was excited for it, but I had some I was a little hesitant because I was afraid that they were just kind of repeating their formula. But I can honestly say that I fucking love this movie. So, I'm sure you guys all around loved it too. Just diving right into it. There's so much to unpack in this movie. Picks up right where Far From Home leaves off. How'd you guys like the opening of this movie?
I think it was perfect. I was, and so truthfully, I didn't see a Far From Home until the day before I went to see this one. I had seen Homecoming in theaters when it came out, just between having kids and like whatever. I never got to see Homecoming. Far From Home. And I watched it the day before, so it was so fresh in my mind. And that extra scene, it was just like, cool. I'm continuing to watch just a really even longer movie.
Yes. Matt, what about you?
Yeah.
Did you like the opening?
I mean, the opening's good. Like it definitely sets it up as like, if you haven't seen, like I've talked to people who haven't seen Far From Home, and I was just like, you could probably go into this without really needing to see it, just since it opens up within the first like 30 seconds of the end of Far From Home. So it's good.
Yeah, it was great. Crow, did you like the opening?
I did. It had some great Zendaya moments, like when he's flinging her around the city and she's like, and they get like that cam. It's like that steady cam shot of her face. It was some of the coolest swinging Spider-Man swinging we've seen. I love
when he just leaves her on the bridge top, and it's like no, it's no big deal. No big deal. He walks off to get on the phone, and she's like, dude, like, get me down from here.
And that's one of the first. There's so many throwbacks and little like camera things they do in this movie, and that's one of the first, if not the first, in the movie is right there on that bridge. There was the battle in Spider-Man 2 or the first Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 1, yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, with the trolley. With the trolley, yeah. The trolley, yes. Yeah, that's
Joe's.
Yep.
Drops a book.
Yeah, which is great. I also, upon seeing people break this down and seeing like little clippets from their bootleg videos, like Matt was saying before, there's like a Time magazine with his girlfriend from the first one on it on the cover. Talking about the menace, or
it's like He's a Liar. It's like the headline on it.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. This opening was so fun and so quick, and it was just right into it. One thing that I thought was a little crazy, and I don't know, maybe in this day and age, I guess that it's supposed to be like that dual kind of thing where it's like half the people are going to think this way, half people are going to think this way. Yeah. I feel like nobody would think that Spider-Man was like a murderer. That's where I landed on it. But like, it was funny to see that, like, J. Jonah Jameson doing like that Alex Jones style, like reporting, like yelling and like basically dividing the country on the city on Spider-Man.
You know what's weird about it is, like, this movie takes place in the Avengers universe where everybody is like known, like nobody has a secret identity anymore. Right. So would Spider-Man being revealed really be that big of a deal?
Well, this is the flip side of the coin from Spider-Man 2, when his face, he stops the train and his face gets revealed, and they all bring him onto the train, and they said, "Don't worry, we won't tell anybody." Like, that's the opposite effect. Like, they find out who he is, and they're like, no, you're good. Like, keep on doing good shit.
Right, but that's like Spider-Man in its own universe. Like, but this is right. No,
that's what I'm saying. It's a flip side of the coin.
But also, it doesn't help that Mysterio has like doctored footage of Spider-Man and kill everybody.
It's true. That's true. But I feel like that's like, and again, that's the beauty of like having this kind of divided universe where like Nick Fury and SHIELD are like a like underground agency. But I feel like they would have stepped up, or Stark Technologies could have stepped up and been like, or Stark Industries rather, and would have been like, oh no, that's all bullshit. We have like the real footage here. But like, I don't know. I understand that it's a movie and it's a plot and like it has to move that way for the story that they're telling. But I just felt like it was a little little bit of bullshit that people would react that way to Spider-Man that they did. But
Yeah.
I think it's probably because like as soon as you like when we get into the movie a bit further, like they're investigating Stark Industries because of the drones.
right.
So it's like what they wouldn't believe Stark Industries because well
That's
it's
true.
their drones.
You're very true.
Shooting.
I didn't think about that. I totally forgot about that. That part of the story that they were investigating Stark Industries.
Yeah, you're right. That'll be funny for other movies, like or other shows. Like I know Iron Wars is coming up. Like I wonder how much plays into that and stuff like that. But this movie is nothing if it isn't just literally flexing. It's like, look how much shit we can do in this movie that is connected. And I mean, that's right off the bat. That one shot with him running through his house with Aunt May and Happy and like trying to like calm the like hide everything. I mean,
I love the
hilarious.
happy breakup.
Me too.
The happy like really, you didn't have fun? Do you have fun?
Yeah.
Like it's so good.
And that
was so good.
That shot is all one continuous shot.
Yeah,
it's like
that makes it awesome.
Is it a
really
real
cool.
continuous or is it one of those fake continuous?
It's I believe a real continuous.
For a lot of it is for sure. Like there's
cutback for that one, yeah.
There's cutbacks to like Zendaya and stuff, I think, but like for the most part, when it's like Peter talking to Aunt May and freaking out around the apartment,
closing windows.
Yeah, that's all one take. But it's pretty awesome. I think that was a great shot, and then that obviously leads to the first big multiverse reveal of the movie, which is freaking Charlie Cox's Daredevil. Matt Murdock is the lawyer. That was amazing. And I love that turn.
My theater had my first show. Both showings did, but my first theater showing was Thursday night, like Matt's, and everybody went nuts. Everybody went nuts when he came on.
Oh my god, I haven't been to a movie that went nuts for scenes and like things like this popping up in forever. Like I think Endgame had them, but like this was like a whole other level. Like the entire audience was cheering and like yelling and like clapping at like different random parts. I saw it with my wife. She's never seen Daredevil or the show or anything like that. So when he's there, I was like, that's Matt Murdock, and she was like, I don't know who that is.
I feel like at this point in the phases of Marvel, if you're not caught up, like you're gonna be missing a lot.
No shit.
Like I mean, gone are the days where you're just coming in and like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, no, this shit is like piggybacked on top of everything else.
It was a pretty awesome reveal for him, though. I like that he was like, "Oh, you're off the hook, but fuck it, but Stark Industries is fucked." And then Happy, he's like, "You should get a good lawyer." And Happy's like, "Fuck." Like what?
That's when we get the nice photo of Happy looking like Vincent Vega
with the long hair. Yeah, that was great.
You got long hair and a little bolo tie. It was like right when Pulp Fiction came out. It must have been like,
that was the Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3, yeah.
That's hilarious.
I love when he catches the brick that comes through the window.
Really good lawyer.
How'd you do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
Really good lawyer. But the best is like Peter Parker's hands like right there, like he's got it, and then like Matt just gets it before he does. Fucking incredible. But this movie's like, and obviously like for people who've been watching Hawkeye, they had the reveal the week before or same week this movie came out of Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin being in this universe. Right. So I almost wish like Hawkeye was like I don't know. I guess that reveal was good for the show, but I almost wish that Daredevil was such a surprise to me. Like it was surprising, but having seen Vincent D'Onofrio, I was like, fuck. It was still awesome, but I was like, I knew I kind of expected it to come now, you know?
Oh, you didn't see the leaked image come up online
of him?
Weeks ago of them at the table?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah, no, I stopped looking, truthfully.
Me too.
I stayed away from all the leaks. The only thing I saw, I honestly wish they didn't even show Doc Ock in the trailer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because
I
didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Well, they had to show the villains. They had to show you what the plot of the movie really was.
Well, the big thing was like they were originally gonna do it. I read an interview with Tom Holland. Like Sony and Marvel were just like, we're just gonna do it as like Spider-Man versus Doctor Strange as like a Civil War type trail. Like that was going to be their original marketing for the movie.
Just mislead everybody.
And they were just like, there's like no way, like there's no way because like there's like barely any footage to it.
Yeah.
Because like you have to at least show something.
It wouldn't even grab the audience the same way. Like if that were the setup they said, because trailer 1, when they showed me fucking Doc Ock, I was like, holy shit! Like this movie's gonna be fantastic. So if they literally led with that Doctor Strange, and I'll be like, I'll be like, this isn't gonna be any. This, I mean, it's gonna be good for me, like as a comic movie lover.
But if you're right though, if I saw that trailer, I would have been like, this looks like a shitty Spider-Man movie.
Like this is where it's going. He's gonna fight Doctor Strange. Like that's stupid. But no, all the trailers work for me. And obviously that leads to the plot line where they're not. Because of the relationship with Spider-Man, Ned and Mary or MJ are having negative repercussions in their life. They can't get into college. He can't get into college, and like all this negative stuff, which brings us back to Doctor Strange and little reveals about Wong being the Sorcerer Supreme because of the 5-year blip. Incredible,
dude. Wong is like my favorite secondary character. Like, yeah, I'm assuming you guys saw Shang-Chi.
Adam didn't yet, but
that's okay.
There's just awesome Wong moments in that movie too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen a clip of a Abomination fight.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he does. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun little bit. But yeah, so that sets up the plot of the movie where he asks him if he could reverse time. Doctor Strange says, "No, we don't. I can't reverse time. I lost the time stone. It's gone." And then Wong gives him the idea. Oh, he forgot, and then he's like, I can make everybody forget.
Just like that party.
He said Doctor Strange is such an idiot in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I
think he was thinking that he kind of owed Peter something, because Peter like basically came up with the idea to save his fucking life in Infinity War. So
right.
I don't know. I think he thought he owed him something a little bit, and he's just a kid, and kids shouldn't have to deal with these giant superhero fucking problems that he has.
That's his theme. That's what he deals with in every one of his movies, where he's dealing with this huge, massive thing, and it sucks, but it sucks even more because he's a kid. And he's essentially doing it by himself most of the time. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so then he goes to do his spell. I love checking out the little like dialogue in the sub basement of the what do you call it? The Sanctum Sanctorum. And he's like, oh, and they filmed an episode of The Equalizer here in the 80s. Fucking awesome. Oh, man.
Which went over everybody's head in the theater. But
oh yeah, I'm sure there weren't any people who were alive to watch The Equalizer.
But it's like, I don't know. But I lost my train of thought. Never mind. I'll come back to me.
But sorry, go ahead, Adam.
I was gonna say, I feel like the fact that like it was snowy and everything in there, right? When they first go in, everything's frozen over. They got the two people working, clearing it up and everything like that. I feel like that's on purpose to show us that there's like something a little off with their portals to the other places. They're not just gonna throw that snow in there for you just like, oh, this would be funny. Put a bunch of snow in here and everything frozen over. Like there's probably something a little because it looks like there's like a flood in the trailer for Doctor Strange now. And I feel like it's gonna be I bet has something to do with it. I bet there's something wrong with the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah, probably. It's probably the because the multiverse. We don't know. Again, I don't know where the shows that have dealt with the multiverse, like WandaVision and Loki and stuff like that. We don't know which of those in order has gone first, right?
Right.
Do we know that, Matt? You're a big comic guy. Do you know that? Like,
so I think like Loki is like outside of the regular time. right? Since he's a variant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like I think I've seen like news articles or people like line up where like when you see the person at the end of time, he like looks off and smiles, and like at the time moment, it's like when Scarlet Witch becomes Scarlet Witch.
Mhm.
So it's like it's one of those like weird things like where someone saying like, oh, this could happen because this happened, but like I think from what I can tell is like this seems like since No Way Home takes place 8 months after. No, sorry, Far From Home takes place 8 months after No Way Endgame.
Yep.
Then you have so like everything's like kind of like in 2024 because like they did the jump ahead in
Yes.
Endgame. So we have like WandaVision is probably takes place maybe a couple weeks after the events of Endgame.
Yep.
Loki is outside of time. Hawkeye is taking around the time of now this new Spider-Man movie because like it, as we see at the end, it's Christmas time for Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
As it's like a couple days before Christmas for Hawkeye. And then What If it's just whatever is going on. And Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier takes place probably maybe like a few months after Endgame as well. Not,
right.
Like they haven't released anything official yet, which I imagine someone has done all the math out, but I haven't.
Yeah, I just mean like I wonder if with the shows that have dealt with the fracturing realities, right?
Right.
Or that's WandaVision, Loki. Like I wonder if is Spider-Man the catalyst for this, or was WandaVision the catalyst for this? And then like Loki's events take place, or I mean, are they all simultaneously happening? Is it like these three things happen at the exact moment that fucking
who's to say like WandaVision doesn't really deal with like the multiverse a ton. Like she just kind of warps the reality around that small town.
Right. But
whereas Loki has like ramifications through it because like at the end of it you see like someone new is coming and we're supposed to be led to believe it's going to be Kang,
yes,
the Conqueror. And so like maybe like there's the spell, maybe it's because the fact that there's this new variant of Kang coming in, maybe that changed it as well. Maybe it is because like it's happening all at the same time where just like everything exploded.
Right.
Or realistically, right? So it's all this cosmic crazy timeline shit is happening on the same planet, roughly in the same neighborhood. So like aliens, sentient beings are probably gonna be like, dude, fucking Earth again, really?
Yeah.
All right, like gotta go.
But that leads to the Doctor Strange spell, which like I love. He's getting ready to. Everyone's gonna forget you're Spider-Man, blah blah. And then he starts. Well, not everybody. I need some people to know that I'm Spider-Man still, and that like just fucks the whole thing up.
Yeah, I love how Doctor Strange isn't just like, is there anybody you want to keep in the loop before we start this thing? It's not as fun that way, but I mean,
I know. You know what's funny though is I had this conversation with Adam. I said, you know what the spell should have been? It should have been make everybody forget the video from Mysterio.
Yeah,
that should have been the spell. But then Adam's like, yeah, but then there's no movie. I'm like, yeah,
no, Doctor Strange.
Let's just roll.
Doctor Strange should have just been like, tough shit, you're not getting into college. I was a successful rich doctor, and my hands got all fucked up, and I didn't use any of my spells to go back and get all that back. So fuck you, like you deal with it.
Why would he? Why would he need to go back? He can do fucking magic now. I would be like, yeah, dude, I'm not a surgeon anymore, but I can fucking teleport across the planet and like trap one of the most powerful beings with my fucking whip thing and whatever in Infinity War. So, I think it's a good passover.
He really liked that career he had.
Yes, but he was a terrible person, and now he's a good person.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's a person.
I love it. So the spell goes off. Everybody thinks it's whatever. He's gonna make his play to go get him and his friends into college, and that reveals our first being that has crossed over, which is Doc Ock. I loved the Alfred Molina reveal. I thought it was incredible. It's literally like he stepped right out of Spider-Man 2 into this movie, which I know is what happened timeline-wise. But I mean, even acting-wise, it was like he didn't miss a fucking beat. He fell right back into that character. I thought he was great. What did you guys think of Doc Ock?
I love the way he delivers a line. You're not Peter Parker. Like it's just perfect because he's just like, huh? No, but like, I think he is. No, never mind. I was gonna say I think he's the best part of the movie, but he's not.
He's up there for sure.
He's up there for sure. He's up there for sure, but I think that goes to Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was awesome. He was fucking great. And they had to de-age him, obviously, because it's been 20 years. But they didn't de-age Willem Dafoe, I don't think.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Oh, for sure. He's wicked old. He always is gonna have that Willem Dafoe face, but like no, they de-aged him for sure. I thought he was awesome. Adam, what'd you guys think of Doc Ock, his intro into this movie?
I mean, it was great to see him back. It was fun to hear him like still he's just like he comes back and he's like looking for Spider-Man to figure out where his machine was back from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Because he was just like he was on the verge of having the power of the sun within his hand. And there's all the fun bits of like you have him fighting this new Spider-Man who doesn't even know who he is. You have him like interested in his nanotechnology suits. And I remember hearing online like, oh, like this Doc Ock's probably worked for Stark Industries because his tentacles are red now because of the armor. But it's just like, no, the nanotech absorbed onto the tentacles. That way, for the big joke and reveal is that like Spider-Man now controls Doc Ock.
That was incredible. Incredible. Adam, do you like that interaction there?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And as we've discussed before, I'm very critical on CGI in movies. And I think that like his tentacles and everything, it was integrated perfectly. But it's like you couldn't tell that they weren't real at this point. They did like an awesome job. Just the way everything moves and like the integration between like I'm sure a lot of those cars on that freeway were all real. And like I don't know.
I can't believe how destructive it was. Like I don't remember Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. Like I don't remember those arms like lifting. He lifted one of those like manhole like pipes and like swung around.
Well, he ripped a bank vault a door off of when he was robbing the bank.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It's been a long time since I've even watched Spider-Man 2. So
it's fun. And what's funny to see is like how far the technology's come because like in Spider-Man 2, they were using like puppeteers to do some of the arms and stuff for some of it, as well as like early CGI, not really early CGI, but like 2004 CGI. But like it's interesting to see how far we come where it's just all CGI to him now, whereas before it was like a mixture of both.
But I will.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I will say the CGI in Spider-Man 2 still holds up for the most part.
They did what they could do. A lot of it was practical too, so that makes a lot of sense. But what they did was, and I saw this on that Hot One show with Tom Holland, where he was saying that like Alfred Molina, like what they did was they had him on like a swing rig. So like that's when you see him on the arms, he was just like standing on a platform, and they would like move him around around the area, so because they could obviously CGI the arms in now. But his body still had to move, and he was like, he'd be sitting there talking to Tom Holland, and then like they'd have to move, and he'd be like, "I'll be right back." They'd like move him like 30 feet away, and then like move him back. But incredible. And then obviously this leads to the first reveal of Green Goblin being there too. Just the cackle and then the flying in and the pumpkin bomb and like
the way they
awesome.
The way they handled him is perfect.
Yes.
Just the progression, like they get rid of that fucking mask real quick. They just smash it and they're like, all right, we're done with that. Now we're gonna give him the fucking hood and like the way they gave him the look that people were bitching about back in 2002. Like, it's fucking Willem Dafoe. He doesn't need a mask. He already looks like a goblin. Just fucking.
Yeah, he didn't look that much different than the actual mask. The mask
No,
was
that's
great.
what I'm saying.
about
Yeah,
it.
it's just,
Yeah, I think that they thought in 2002 that if they went like full Green Goblin, like let's paint his skin, let's fucking give him the purple head, like he would just look like he would have looked idiotic with like the purple fucking goblin hat.
Yeah.
But the way they did it in this one made more sense. He's got the green suit, he's got the purple hood, but it's just his face, right?
yeah,
but
he looks it looks fucking awesome. Like,
yeah, he did. He had the goggles on. I didn't love the goggles when he's like flying around later in the movie.
Well, you got it. That's for safety precautions, man. You know, you're flying around, you get a bug in the eye. I don't know.
I got like hints of
in
like
your face.
I know, but I got hints of like Harry Osborn's Goblin, and that was like the worst. So like,
oh yeah,
but I really dug Willem Dafoe, and oh my god, I mean, I know we're gonna be jumping around a little bit now because I just really want to talk about all the villains, but that fucking turn with him leads to literally the most brutal fight in a Spider-Man movie.
I love when Tom Holland's just punching him and he's just ha 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 the whole fucking time. It's like so good.
Dude, the punching through the floor, like it's just I know that Spider-Man's like got super strength. I know the Green Goblin in that iteration does too, in that version of Green Goblin. But when they're like punching through the floors, and I was like, oh man, I fucking forget how strong these characters are supposed to be. You know, he's supposed to be like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but it's like this dude could like throw a bus at you. Like it's crazy.
I think Green Goblin and Willem Dafoe were way better in this than the original Spider-Man. And how often do people get that chance, like years later, to play the same character but just do it better?
Every one of the people in this movie.
That's true. That's very true. And then obviously you get some minor villains in this movie. Like those are your two big ones. But like I would say like Lizard, obviously he's just a third act villain, right? That's why he's here. He didn't have much screen time.
He wasn't even actually there at all. The actor wasn't there at all. For that movie. He did. He later he lent his voice, but that was it.
Oh, really?
Yep. Same thing with Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah, they use archive footage for their reveals at the end.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. So they did the voice acting for them later on, but they weren't there for filming at all.
Yeah, and then obviously Sandman, same thing. Like Thomas Hayden Church, I couldn't believe. Like I get he was back and he's not again. What the hell has he done? But like, I was so surprised.
So the reason why both of them stated they weren't actually at filming is because they had other stuff they were working on.
Nice. I know that they probably
not being there.
Yeah,
I'm working on it, man.
But it's just so crazy that like it didn't even cross my mind that it would be Thomas Hayden Church. Like that never even crossed my mind. Like I was like, oh, it's just gonna be somebody else being a random.
I saw it a few days before you did, and that was one of your questions. It was like, so it was really him? I was like, yeah, man. And he was just like,
and obviously the worst kept secret in the world. Hold on, Jamie Foxx's Electro. Do you like this version of him better?
It's better, but he was the weakest part for me.
I don't know. What about the sixth member of the Sinister Six? That the tree that they captured.
It's just a tree, man. It's just a tree.
I like that they did away with the blue thing, and I like that they comment on it. I like that they commented on it. He's like, oh, I look good. I look good on this universe. I want to stay here. Like that's his whole thing. But yeah, overall the villains were great. Love the reveal of the villains. But obviously that leads to the biggest thing in the movie everybody knew they were going to be in it, but they did a good job not showing it, was the Spider-Man.
Right.
Well, the minute I saw the first trailer and I saw Doc Ock and he's like, "Hello, Peter," I was like, they're both going to be in it. They have to be in it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't bring the villains in without bringing the others in.
Imagine how disappointing of a movie this would have been
if they weren't in it.
If we had hyped ourselves up. Yeah, me
Would have
too.
hated it.
Me too. On principle alone, it could have been
See,
awesome.
I think they could have. I think I don't. Again, I'm not saying I think they could have done it. Like I wanted to see it, but I think that there's definitely. I think there was a possibility they could have done this without him, and
wouldn't have been as good of a movie.
it wouldn't have. But Sony, I know that Marvel helped Sony with Spider-Man, right? Sony's made bad mistakes with their movies though in the past, so I could see them like blowing this opportunity. So
yeah.
Right.
But what do you guys think of obviously the first portal that opens up reveals Andrew Garfield? I fucking loved it. I have to say I loved it.
My theater was like, yeah. I'm like, shut up, all of you. You all hated him about 2 months ago. Now you fucking love him. Like, shut up.
I like to see that his spider sense works very similar to this universe's Peter Parker's. If you throwing bread at him or whatever.
Who's got the fucking car beeping?
Not me.
It's outside.
Gonna get in. Oh, good.
But tossing the bread at him and just hitting him like
don't toss the bread, and then he just does the little finger hop. Is that good? It's like no, it's not good enough. This is definitely good enough.
Get the cobweb that's in the corner.
Oh,
says.
It was great. I thought he was great, and like truthfully, never hated Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
No, I always liked him.
Just his movies weren't great, right?
Right.
I didn't even mind his movies. I
the
thought
first one I didn't mind.
I
liked the first one, but the second one was just a hot mess.
All the Gwen Stacy stuff in the first one, especially the end, was like on point for me. But Electro and all that, like whatever. But the character stuff for me and Amazing Spider-Man 2 was really good. And Andrew Garfield was always really good to me. So
I think Andrew Garfield is a very good Spider-Man. I don't like him as Peter Parker.
No, there was nothing nerdy about him. He was like, I was like, I remember watching. I was like, damn, I wish I was as cool as him when I was in high school.
Yeah,
like it just.
I don't know. He's got that loser quality. Even when he's talking to the Spider-Men, like he's like, oh, I'm such a fucking
that's
loser
different.
compared to you two.
No.
Like,
I'm talking about his two movies.
Oh,
nothing
okay.
about this film.
Yeah, he was. They definitely didn't make him seem like too much of a loser in his.
I
don't even remember a scene where he's getting bullied. Is there a scene where like Flash Thompson bullies him in the Amazing Spider-Man 1?
Yeah.
Like
there is.
Yeah, it's like his big thing was like he was like the outsider. Like he wasn't like the wallflower Peter Parker. He was much more of like this outsider where he was dealing with like his parents abandoned him. They died. They never came back.
He was
emo Parker.
Emo Parker.
Okay.
But like his Spider-Man was like I always felt like I always liked his take on Spider-Man. Like obviously like I can't like fault him for like his Peter Parker stuff because that's the material he was given to do. Yeah. Same with the other Spider-Man that's going to be popping up in a few minutes. But
he was like, Spider-Ham?
Spider-Ham, yeah. Spider-Ham.
Andrew Garfield was so into it too. Like he's a huge I read that he's a huge Spider-Man fan.
Yeah, and like so like Tom Holland. So I feel like that's their love for this character.
I'm really happy he got to come back. I'm really happy he got to do this.
Well, apparently everybody in the world is because there's a massive Twitter poll and like thing saying like release or make Amazing Spider-Man 3 now.
Oh, for fuck's sake! These fucking people, dude. Seriously.
And there's like all these rumors like he has deals with Marvel now and Marvel and Sony where he's gonna be popping up more.
Yeah, well, that's
fun. Whether or not that stuff's gonna actually happen, I don't know.
I think that and I was talking this to Adam, and we'll get back into the rest of the plot of this movie, but I think there's a actual chance you could see Amazing Spider-Man 3 with him. Like this movie, if nothing else, has really like driven home. Like people, like he got his second chance and people loved it. In my theater, people loved it. Everyone on the internet that I'm looking at loved it. And that's like all it takes to get a guy who's maybe like, I'm done with this kind of thing, to do a role like this, even like a not small. I mean, it was a pretty big role in the movie, but like all it takes is something like that for somebody to be like, you know what? Now the way that they're handling this, I would come back. You know,
his thing was like he wasn't done with it.
Yeah,
the studio was like done with him.
Yep.
And like that's what like was probably the worst thing was just like because of all the Sony leaks and stuff like that all those years ago now.
Yeah.
But it was like it's all that stuff where it's like we can't for whatever reason they were like we can't seem to do this right. And it's like, well, you have like 8 writers on the last movie. Maybe that might be a problem.
Yeah. You guys are trying to world build for like 10 movies in one movie, and that's ridiculous. So but yeah, I could see him doing it. And I was saying to Adam, his whole setup here with like he doesn't have a Mary Jane in his life. He doesn't have anything like that. I think with Sony wanting to make a Black Cat movie, I could see him having Felicia Hardy as his love interest in his world. There's definitely room for that, and we don't even know where any of these other movies fall in the Sony universe. Like Morbius, we have no fucking clue where that falls. You see Harold Toomes, you hear him talking about Venom, but we know those are 2 different universes. So it's like, what world is that movie set in?
And if they do Venom 3, maybe he's the Spider-Man of that Venom universe.
And I love this. I love these opportunities now that people are accepting of a multiverse type of situation where you can have multiple Spider-Man movies congruently with the others. And I'd even be down for another fucking Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie.
I would
like older fucking 50-year-old Peter Parker.
Peter B. Parker.
Yeah. He basically is Peter B. Parker. Oh, yeah. Kinda.
A little bit, he's in better shape. A little bit less like grim,
depressed.
He found a way to make it work with MJ. So I don't think. I think that's a little different. But
it's because he was working out. The other one stopped working out.
And then they obviously that leads us to we're already talking about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man shows up, and he was awesome. I love when they first show up and they're just kind of looking at each other for a minute, and then they decide to web each other. Like immediately they counter flip, and it was just, can you guys get rid of those webbings? Like my grandmother needs you to pick that up. I thought that was a great interaction, and this movie, I was already 100% on board, but the second these guys came in, I never even left the edge of my seat again. Dude, like for the rest of the movie.
As somebody who saw the original Spider-Man like 4 times in the theater back in the day, like, and even downloaded on like LimeWire, like when the cams came out, like just seeing, I still can't believe this movie is a thing. Like I still can't believe this movie.
Did you just freeze out?
Like just as a Spider-Man fan. Just as a Spider-Man fan for the 20, because this movie is basically just a love letter to 20 years of cinematic Spider-Man. So like just being able, dude, I loved every second of it. Like
I think this movie meant more to me than a lot of the movies I see. Not saying that like Avengers is still like crazy good for me, but this movie meant so much to me because it literally took me back to like some of my first movie theater comic book experiences. Like I was like you guys, one. Like you, I was there for the Spider-Man. I was there for X-Men. So like seeing Spider-Man on screen and then seeing like this, like 20 years later, they're bringing it all back in and interweaving these characters that I've been with the whole time into this day and age. I was like, this is fucking incredible. And it just worked so well for me. And I'm sure it's the same for all you guys.
And it was different than like a regular nostalgia grab. Like
it was good.
like the new Ghostbusters. Like it's not just remember this thing, remember this. Like this has so much more weight than something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's.
And then with new stuff being thrown in as well, let's not forget how those guys got at least to that house. Is Ned opened up 2 portals.
That's right. That's an interesting take there, making Ned the potential future sorcerer.
Well, they did say, like Ned did say, like his family always said, like
family had like
always had that little spark of magic.
And then when it goes to his house, it kind of hovers on like a display of weaponry for a few seconds, like longer than just being like panning over it. Like it sits there for a sec.
Well, I know Ned Leeds is Hobgoblin in certain comic iterations, so I'm wondering. I don't think they're going to go that route with him because why set up this magic thing? If that's
Well,
the
the
way
way
you're gonna go with it.
this movie ends, you're probably who knows what's going to happen in the future, but maybe we won't see that. But like I always recall, like like Ned Leeds was always like he was brainwashed into thinking he was the Hobgoblin,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ned Leeds died. But like I'm not even sure if that's like because they like retcon stuff all the time in comics, so like who knows if that's been retcon where it's like he was the Hobgoblin, but like if I memory serves, like he was never actually the Hobgoblin. He was just brainwashed into thinking he was for a moment in time by the actual Hobgoblin.
Some like MK Ultra shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I will say, I
go
want to
ahead.
jump back to like the Toby reveal. Like, I mean, like you guys too. Like, I was there for like that first Spider-Man movie. I remember being online, seeing that first image of him in the suit, and like you have to remember, like the first X-Men movie comes out in 2000, and they're not in the suits. Like they're just wearing like black leather suits. They're not wearing the colorful.
Right.
They don't look like they do in the comics.
No.
And when that first image of Spider-Man was like, this is like, it's Spider-Man. It's like he's wearing the red and blue suit.
Yeah.
Like that was like the biggest like thing, because like also with you had like the Batman movies where he was always in the black rubber suits. He was never in like gray or blue or gray and black.
Right.
But like with that first Spider-Man movie, this was like, oh, this is like they're going for something with it. And then to jump back to 19 years ago, it's just like I think people probably don't remember like that first Spider-Man movie was huge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This was like
so Crow
the
and
start
I
of everything.
Crow's brother and myself worked at the Showcase Cinemas in Woburn when that movie came out. And we got to see it like this was back before they had the digital reels. So they had to string together the reels and then they have to play it before the movie comes out to make sure that it's okay. So we got to go see the movie like a week before it came out. And we were just like minds blown. I mean, we were 15 years old and like mind just blown seeing this movie. Because there wasn't any, I mean, there was X-Men, but like,
this was on a whole different level. This was on a whole different level.
Yeah, this wasn't this
epic. It was a fucking epic time. It really was.
That's what just makes me so. It's like this can't be the only time we see these characters come back. You know what I mean? Like it can't be, because I and every single person in the theater was so happy to see them and so happy to see the way that they were handled by like with the proper storyline, there's proper stories for them. I'm not saying that Tobey Maguire's movies didn't get that. They did. The first two were great, right? Yeah. But to see like it executed so perfectly to not go to these characters again in the future for whatever movies you might have, I would be fucking devastated.
It just seems wasteful.
Well, not only that, but you get kind of where they are, or kind of where they've been, and you got Tobey Maguire saying, "Oh, me and MJ, we kind of working it out," and that was it. And I'm like, no. I just want to hear more. Like, where you guys been? Like, what have you guys done? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know more about those characters.
I mean, they set they set it up in places where each of those characters, should they get another movie, could have incredible arcs. Like I said, you have Andrew Garfield, who's again doesn't have. You get that angry Spider-Man that that you never got to see, right? You never got to see that. So to see him go back to his universe and try to be the better Spider-Man, potentially find love with whoever, Felicia Hardy or someone, find his own MJ, whatever. You could do that kind of a story. But then I was thinking about it, and Tobey Maguire, right? He's the whole thing where he goes like, when they're having that conversation, he's like, "Oh, you ever fought any aliens or whatever?" He's like, "I fought an alien goo, blah, blah." And he's like, I fought a purple alien in space. And he lingers on it. He goes, "I'm still blown away by the fact that you just said you fought in space," right? Yeah. I could totally see them taking Tobey Maguire and making Secret Wars with him as the Spider-Man. Like, I don't know. That'd be pretty cool, right? I mean, like
he'll be Downey, he'll probably be like 50 something by the time they get to Secret Wars.
They gotta get cracking if they want to use him.
And I'll say this too, like I think it's like I feel I always felt like Tobey Spider-Man, he was never as the quippy Spider-Man as like Andrew Garfield's and Tom Holland's Spider-Mans have been. And I think that's just like due to the writing. And like it was fun to see him try to be a bit more quippy in this film because he was never really that version of that character. Now it's like 14 years ago now since the last movie.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that goes back to, so earlier I was saying I feel like Andrew Garfield was a very good Spider-Man, Peter Parker not so much. And again, are their original movies. This is a whole new slate. But Tobey Maguire was a very good Peter Parker, not a great Spider-Man.
Right.
Like, he didn't have that classic smart ass.
He always looked way too old for the part, though, to me.
I agree.
I've made jokes in the past on this channel where I'm like, oh yeah, Tobey Maguire, he was like 45 years old when he played Peter Parker for the first time.
What's funny is he was 26 when he got the first Spider-Man.
Him and Andrew Garfield were the exact same age.
No,
he just
Garfield
seemed
was
older.
28.
Yeah.
Garfield was 28. He was actually older than Tobey was.
Well, they seem.
I think when they hired him, he was like 26, but when the movie came out,
But-
maybe he was like 28.
That's funny. But I thought I loved having them in the movie. I thought it was great. And I love that they don't, oh my God, just the conversations between them was so good between their different worlds. You got Andrew Garfield being like, oh man, I want to fight an alien.
Only fought a Russian guy in a rhino costume.
My favorite conversation they had was the Tobey Maguire's webbing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
so
my
funny.
God. Oh my
And
God. Like
you knew that was going to come up. And it's like, what are the, what are the web cartridges for? I don't understand.
I don't know. Close second for me is the back issues.
Oh yeah.
That's a nod to Spider-Man 2. He
Yeah.
almost wasn't in Spider-Man 2 because he said he was having back issues.
My back.
As a sea biscuit.
Yeah, as a Seabiscuit.
Well, it's because he hurt his back while he was filming Seabiscuit. Yeah.
Incredible. But another great conversation. I love the Avengers conversation where they're trying to fight, and he's like, have you guys never fought in a team up before?
That's great. What is that?
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to brag. I don't want to brag, but I'm in the Avengers. I'm in the Avengers. And he's like, that's awesome. What is that? And it's like, is that a band? Are you in a band? Like, it's like such fun conversations to have in the middle of this like climactic moment. But
that leads to probably the coolest image in the movie. Coolest image in almost any movie I've ever seen. The three of them finally synchronizing up, going and running and jumping off the Statue of Liberty and just swinging together. Peter takes obviously Peter. Tom Holland takes the both of them and like launches them to gain the momentum, and
then catches their web to pull himself up.
Unbelievable.
Awesome web work. Awesome web work.
And there's a shot of them in the air, and they're all doing their signature moves. Like Toby's Spider-Man did like I think the position he had on the very first Spider-Man poster, where he kind of had his leg kind of. They all did like.
Oh, they all landed in their super.
They all
pose.
landed in their pose that they've had on either their posters or in their movies. So like it was just like a little differentiating like character trait for each one, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, they all had moments to do different like callbacks to even things in their movies that they did. Like there was a scene with Tobey Maguire where he did the two web thing where he like did like the slingshot and he shot himself up the building. Yeah. And then there's obviously the callback with the Andrew Garfield save of Zendaya. I fucking love that. I love that.
That's my favorite Andrew Garfield moment in the whole movie.
My God, he saves her and he's just emotional and she's like, "Are you all right?" Like he's like, I think I will be or whatever. He's just like, he's got her. Like it was so fucking good.
I mean, this truth be told though, this time around he had a lot less going on when he was trying to save Gwen Stacy. Back then he had Gwen, he had the clock, he had
Goblin attacking
him. Yep. He had one clear and apparent goal here. And he knew he said, you know what? He probably made a mental note, don't shoot the web at her.
Catch her.
But what's so great about this is they didn't just show up and go, "Hey," or "Oh, pizza time," or anything like that. Like they didn't just have one quippy line, then they were out of there. Like
Mhm.
you got character closure for Andrew
Yeah,
both
Garfield's
of them.
Spider-Man. Like that's
Yeah,
you got like
it was
a
awesome.
He froze again.
a character succession from movies that just don't like. What am I freezing?
No, you're
Yeah.
good now. You're good
You're
now.
good.
You're good now.
Okay. But you get like character succession that continues a universe that doesn't exist anymore. And
Yeah, that's crazy.
because they're not making Amazing Spider-Man movies anymore, but you're still getting Andrew Garfield character development, which is crazy to me.
And that's what I think. That's exactly why I think that these movies should continue, because you've got character development that gets them to a place that they're more interesting than they were when they left off in their own movies.
He's
You know?
better in this movie than he was in his own movies.
Yeah. Tobey Maguire Tobey Maguire was the same. I think he was great, and I never had. I mean, I wish there was some kind of joke at his expense for the dancing scene. Some reason to bring that up, but whatever. It's better left dead, I guess. But
Bully Maguire.
but it was awesome, and the final fight was awesome, and I knew that these guys were in this, and I'm sure you guys all saw it. But like weeks ago, when they were revealing that second trailer, and you see just Tom Holland leaping at the three villains coming at him, and then they did the breakdown where you see Lizard's hand get bent and his face get hit, and I was like, all right, well, they're in the movie.
That was like in the Brazil trailer, that because like the other one was like cut, but like in Brazil, like they had the international trailer there, and that's when they saw like the lizard get hit.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing.
It's like, all right, well, someone's hitting him. Who's hitting him? And then there was that great meme where it was Dom Toretto.
I was just gonna.
And he's jumping out and hitting him like.
It just says, the power of family or something like that. That is my favorite movie meme I think I've ever seen.
My God, we brushed right over something. What
did you think of Strange fight?
The Aunt May? Aunt
May, yes, but yeah, I agree.
The whole like we jumped over the whole plot of the movie where it's like
whatever.
Where like they're gonna send them all the villains back,
and
then it's just like, oh, they're all gonna die, and then it's like May talks Peter into it, like, no, you have to do something about it, like it's your responsibility, and she's just like, you need to help them, and so like the big plan is like, oh, we're gonna cure them all, and then obviously like it leads to like. They break into Happy's house. They don't break into Happy's house because they have the key, but like they go to Happy's apartment or condo, and they
synthesize cures for them.
They start doing all the cures for them, and like you see like Norman working with Peter, like being the scientist he always said he was, like in Spider-Man 1.
I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
Oh my God!
Great leads into the big fight.
I didn't even mind that they brought that back. I was
applause in my theater, by the way. When I was
absolutely.
And then obviously that leads to like the big reveal, like, oh, like Goblin's in control now, and we get the big fight, and like everyone kind of leaves, and like Goblin like convinces everyone who like obviously Doc Ock's the first one to get fixed with getting the
inhibitor chip.
The inhibitor chip from Spider-Man 2 fixed.
Yeah.
And then we get the big reveal, like, oh, Goblin's in control. We're now having this big fight. Like Sandman, Electro leave. Spidey and Peter Parker and Goblin are fighting each other. May gets caught in the crosshairs. And then
Jesus.
And then we lose Aunt May, which I was like, having played the Spider-Man game, if you guys haven't played it yet, like I was like, all right, I've dealt with the death of Aunt May.
They did it so good in that game.
Yeah,
they did it so good.
Actually, I just restarted that game last night. I was like, I need a fix.
Well, I wasn't prepared for it because I love Marissa Tomei, and I was like, no, how could you do this to me? And like Happy, I was like, no, how can you do this to Happy?
It's such a great death because it's not like a come here, I'm dying. She had no fucking idea she was dying. She was just like, I'm okay, I'm all right. Like, wait a minute,
dude. When she hops up and like goes to help him, I was like, holy shit, she's fucking tough.
And she gets to deliver the great line.
Yeah,
that's right.
Comic accurate this time.
Yes, the comic accurate great line.
Yeah.
Yes, that was it was great. And then obviously that's the bonding moment with the other Spider-Man is when he gets ready to say that, and then they finish it for him, and he's like, "How do you know that?" Like Uncle Ben
It's
said
not
it.
that all
Ben
their
said it.
mothers were named Martha.
So actually, I have a question. So, and maybe you guys picked up on it. Is there no Uncle Ben in this universe? There was never.
No,
There
I-
is. They mention him once in Homecoming. Not Homecoming, sorry. Civil War.
Civil
Well,
War.
he said no.
They never
Well,
say they never say his name, but they like when Tony visits Peter, he's explaining to him like, I've had these powers for 6 months, and when you're someone like me who never played sports, I
can't
want to
start
play
playing
football, but
sports.
you can't start playing sports.
Because I didn't then.
And when the
I can't
bad
now.
things happen, and it's because of you, you have to do something about it. And like I'm paraphrasing, of course. I don't have the actual dialogue, but it's that. I think that's they never wanted to do Ben again because it's just like people have seen 2 movies already.
Thank God.
Right.
They know the story of Peter Parker.
Leave poor Ben alone.
So I think it's just like we know like there was a Ben. But
my question is, when she's dead, right? And you at the end of again, fast forwarding, you see it the grave site. Why isn't she in the grave with him? You know, maybe
they have 2 separate stones. That's the only thing I could think of.
But that seemed like the opportunity to be like concrete.
Yeah.
Here's Uncle Ben. He's dead.
I was thinking that, and then, like, I mean, I was thinking like that was going to happen. Like, you're going to see 2 stones, but like, obviously, like they didn't do that. But then, like, I also remember too, like in What If, you have the zombie episode where like he mentions losing Uncle Ben, in one of his Spider-Man speeches I think it's on the train. And so like I feel like that's just another confirmation, like since it is like a Spider-Man in the MCU in the multiverse, there was a Ben, but like it just like we're never gonna see him. Now I remember hearing rumors like, oh, like Toby's gonna be the Ben. He's gonna like look at Toby and he's like you
Uncle
like,
Ben?
Uncle Ben.
Right.
I remember hearing that rumor.
I'm holding up for Spider-Ben.
Yeah.
No, Adam, you nailed it when you said that like you were holding up for a cameo with Joe Pesci, and he was my cousin Vinny, Uncle Ben.
Yeah. That'd be beautiful. Either that or the guy who makes the rice. That's the only acceptable ones.
Uncle Ben's rice.
Yeah.
Maybe they kind of retconned Ben from Tom Holland's universe just because you don't get. So we got Ben, we got like that big defining moment for Toby, we got that big defining moment for Andrew Garfield, but you didn't really get that for Tom Holland.
Because like we started with him already a Spider-Man.
Yeah, but
like that's the big thing.
But
and
he's
like also doing Far From Home too. Like his luggage has Ben's initials on it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that Easter egg. You're right.
Maybe he's not dead. Maybe he went up for cigarettes one day and didn't come home.
But we finally have that. Like,
would you leave Marissa Tomei?
Oh yeah, right. No,
like with everyone in the neighborhood hitting on her all the time.
Especially 10 years in the past, Marissa Tomei.
Right.
Not even. It's like how long ago is Civil War now? It's 2016, right? So
right.
It's like
with the blip though.
Yeah, with the blip.
Yeah.
She was blipped too. So
that's true. Oh, I know. Imagine getting blipped just to fucking die. That blows. Yeah. But yeah, I loved it. I was sad to see her die. I'm glad she dropped the line. One of the things pre-movie that I said to Adam, I was like, I hope that if the Spider-Men are in this movie, the other two, I'm like, I hope that they give Peter the with great power comes great responsibility line, like a Tobey Maguire, like handing off the line. And they kind of do that, which is good. But I loved it. I loved everything about the Marissa Tomei getting to say it. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And she had like a lot to do in this movie too, which was nice to see. Like she's only in like the beginning and end of the last movie, and then she's in like a bit throughout Spider-Man Homecoming. But like obviously, like this is much more of a meatier role for her to play.
Well, and this and really everything or most of the things that happened in this film were hinged on her.
Yeah.
It's the whole reason why Peter wanted to save these people for the most part is because she was running Feast. That's he
wants to save them.
Everybody.
Yeah. He wants to save them because she wants to save them. And then when Green Goblin kills her, he wants to kill Green Goblin to get revenge.
Oh, shucks.
See, the way I see it is every Spider-Man got like one origin movie, but Tom Holland got like
3.
All his movies have been an origin movie.
Yeah.
So now at the end of this movie, with May being gone, he gets the line. He loses all the help. He loses the Stark Tech. He loses all that. He doesn't have any more mentors that are trying to,
Well, we have to get to the ending. Why he's at that point too.
And again, let's not forget about that fight with Doctor Strange because that was sick.
That was great.
It was
fight.
good.
And solving.
We could all agree that solve with math, but we can all agree that the reason he's able to keep the box away from him when he's separated from his body is the spider sense, right?
Yeah,
his spider sense protects
the Peter tingle.
Yeah, the Peter tingle, because that was so incredible. Doctor Strange going for it. He's like, "How are you doing that?"
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It feels weird, but yeah, that was a great fight with Doctor Strange. He beats him with math. He steals his fucking ring. It's like just like pieces out through the portal, and then that's where all the villains get free. But that was awesome. I love that he took him back to the mirror dimension. Really cool. Doctor Strange, who I thought was going to be in the movie a little more than he was, but I get he didn't have to be with what was happening.
Right.
I'm okay with what he had.
Me too. It would have been too much if he was there for like any part of it. But I like when he does come back and he's like, he sees this fight happening and he's like, "Where's Parker? I'm so pissed." And he's like,
and then he sees the two of them.
He's like, "I'm curing them." He's curing them. And then he's like, "Oh shit!" Like his plan's fucking working. Like I underestimated this kid.
Never apologize for being the smartest one in the room.
That's right. But that was great. And I like the way that all the villains wrapped up. I loved the last couple, the last little fight with Green Goblin, where like Spider-Man's real. You haven't really seen Tom Holland like go to task with like taking somebody fucking down, So like him using all the webbing was used in such a smart way. Like you're not going anywhere, motherfucker. Like you're staying right there on this ground, and he's not just like beating the shit out of him. I loved it. And
gone is the optimistic loudmouth from Civil War. And all that's left is just fucking.
One thing that I thought they didn't do that I thought was strange, and maybe maybe they did and I just didn't see it, but I was looking for it. Was I feel like Green Goblin or Willem Dafoe, he should have had some like real obvious like blood and like bruising on his face from like the beating he was taking. But there was nothing. He just looked up and I'm like, "I'm perfectly fine." And I was like, dude, Spider-Man was just hitting you as hard as he's ever hit anyone ever. Like your face should be fucked up.
I mean, he also has it's Willem Dafoe. He already has a fucked up face.
Yeah, but I'll also say too, like he too is like he's like an enhanced human.
I know that
the Green Goblin.
But Spider-Man bleeds.
Yeah, he bleeds. Cap bleeds when he gets hit in the face. Like I kind of would have liked to see like Willem Dafoe's Cap. I would have liked to see Willem Dafoe's Goblin even like leading up to that point because he was kind of like asking for it. He was asking Parker to kill him. I would like to have in that moment like him realize like I fucked up and a little bit of fear in his face like wait a minute like like
Green Goblin.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I would have liked to have seen him like regret his decision to go.
No, because like he wants to destroy Spider-Man and like so like him making Spider-Man a killer, like he still wins. It's kind of like with Batman and Joker. If if the Joker gets Batman to kill him, Joker still wins.
Yeah, you're right. But and maybe I don't know. It was just me, I guess. If I saw it like an ounce of fear in Goblin, I would have liked it. But that's okay. It doesn't matter because then Tobey Maguire. I thought they were gonna kill Tobey Maguire when he got stabbed. I was like, oh fuck! Like you killed Aunt May and you're gonna kill Tobey Maguire. But then he's like, "I've been stabbed before. It's okay." I'm like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder. Why bother. Although I think it's just a setup that you're in so much pain, aren't you? Joke. I think that's the only reason that exists.
Yes. Yes,
No,
I
or
am.
to just give that shock value like he had. Like, to just give you another little kind of twist where you're like, oh no, he's dead. Like, oh no, he's good. All right, cool.
I do wish that Toby and Willem Dafoe had more back and
One-on-one.
forth. Yeah,
I agree. I don't even
Yeah.
think they even had. Did they even have a line together?
I
I
don't
feel like
think
they
so.
didn't.
I don't think
No,
so.
like
No.
the big thing is like, so like we skip like, so like Tom grabs the glider and he's about to like stab. He's about to kill Goblin with his glider, and like Toby's Peter Parker jumps in and saves Goblin to protect
Peter's innocence.
Peter's innocence from going into that falling into the rage like he did. Because like they explain like earlier like how he went to go try to kill Uncle Benton's killer, and
It didn't make him better.
it didn't make him better. Like even though like he didn't kill him, like he didn't save him like when he fell out of the window in Spider-Man 1. But like then it didn't even turn out he didn't even kill Uncle Ben, because in Spider-Man 3 it turns out
no,
was
it doesn't.
Mark
That
that killed him.
fuck that. That doesn't exist. That doesn't.
Yeah,
exist.
it does, because like you have Flip Marko helping out Spider-Man from Electro when they
Right.
first meet.
Right.
So I think it's interesting. Like you have the I've been hearing this online. It's like the big brother Spider-Man protecting the little brother Spider-Man from making a wrong choice that he once made himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. I loved it. And again, like that's why when he got stabbed, I was like, "Don't do this to me. Don't kill Tobey Maguire in this movie right now. Like that is, I can't take it." And then luckily he lived. But holy shit, I thought he was a goner for a second. Tom Holland, by the way, when he gets that Green Goblin cure, he stabs him in the neck with it pretty hard. I was like, "Oh shit, he's dead anyway."
He's
like,
still angry. He's still angry.
But do we know?
He's just like, fuck you.
Do we know if the Goblin's cured though?
I feel like everyone's
doesn't matter. He's not in this universe. Not his problem.
I know, but didn't she inject him with? Did Aunt May inject him with one earlier?
It was because it was like an incomplete one or something.
Oh,
he had made that one. And he's like, I fucked it up. Like,
but I feel like you.
Like on
I feel like
purpose.
you never know. I feel like you never know with him though.
And then it's revealed earlier, like Peter. Like Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker was just like, I've always thought about like what would it have been if I cured him. I've had this time to think about it. So,
right.
Like, he makes the cure for Goblin.
Right.
Okay.
I love when Andrew Garfield makes the cure for Connors again, and they're like, "Do you need help? Do you need help?" He goes, "No, I already did it. I've already done it. I don't need help. All right, I cured him once."
Technically, Gwen did it. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I love how that whole Peter 3 thing is just
Peter 2, Peter 3,
Peter
1.
But like the whole I'm a loser or whatever, like that Andrew Garfield.
You're amazing.
Yeah. It's just because I love how they included a joke that he is the less of all the Spider-Men.
Yeah.
Like I just love that he was cool enough to just like, okay, yeah, I know, I get it. I'm out of the three of us, I'm kind of the whatever.
Listen, someone offers you millions of dollars, you're going to be okay with them poking fun at you a little bit.
I'm telling you, there is something in the works for him. There's something in the works probably for Tobey Maguire to come back. There's no way that's the last time we see him.
So hear me out. It's in that Sony universe that they're trying to make darker and everything like that. There's a timeline where Peter Parker becomes Hobgoblin. He could become Hobgoblin in that situation. Maybe.
I don't know. It's really limitless possibilities. But this movie obviously wraps up with Peter eventually telling Doctor Strange, the original plan. He's like, make everybody forget about Peter Parker. Just these people.
Make everyone in the world.
Yeah, everyone in the world. That's right. That's the way it's worded. Forget about Peter Parker. As the multiverse is breaking in, you see the other villains in the sky. You can see a Rhino. You can see Kraven the Hunter. Yeah. Anybody see anybody that I didn't see? I only saw
Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah,
I only saw those two, but
Rhino and Kraven are like they're like they're the bigger ones that you see. But like I've heard online people were saying like they saw Scorpion and they saw Black Cat as well.
I can't wait to get the Blu-ray and just pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be like,
whose outline is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was pretty sick. And then obviously Doctor Strange does the thing, but the wording of that spell is very interesting because he does say everyone in the world will forget about Peter Parker.
Right.
So I don't think that means everybody in the universe forgets about Peter Parker, because there are people off world who know who he is. So
we'll see what happens.
I think it would play out very nicely because, Nick Fury is trying to come back into power in and amongst being what he is, and having secrets is kind of his thing, and he's off world, and him having that's a big secret. Like, I mean,
I could
really,
see him coming back and be like, "Bring me Peter Parker," and they're like, "Who?"
Or even Captain Marvel.
So Captain Marvel, him, Thor, and the new Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. There's people that know he's Spider-Man. So, Christ's sakes, Ant-Man could have been in the quantum realm when that spell was cast.
He was in Thanos's butt. That was the true ending.
So, do you guys think he tells Ned and MJ?
No, absolutely not.
No, after like seeing that end where like he's like explaining to them, I'll find you, I'll tell you everything, I'll get you guys back. Like, and he sees them, they're like ready to go off to college. Like, but then he sees like MJ behind the counter getting him in his coffee, and he notices the bandage on her head. Mm-hmm. He's just like, I can't bring them back.
Oh yeah, no. It's I love the way they handled it, but I'm talking like down the road.
But
I think the way it's gonna work is whoever the next villain is in the next Spider-Man movie
is gonna make it happen. Somehow.
Is gonna somehow realize that Spider-Man cares about these two people, right? And he's gonna target them in a way that Spider-Man's gonna have to save them, and that's gonna lead to them revealing that he like already knew them. But
that's even if they come back, like, because like I've heard like reports. I mean, who knows if they're gonna do another one? Like, I've heard so many like conflicting things where like,
I've heard he's got 3 more movies in the pipeline.
But he does. They don't.
Yeah, they don't. So like they could come back. Who knows?
So,
but he's also saying like he wants to like step away from Spider-Man for a while. So who knows? Like,
well, he said that before he signed on the 3 deals.
Yeah.
What to do that fucking stupid Uncharted movie?
Well, that's already done.
Yeah, it's already done. She still has on the Black Dahlia
necklace.
I was looking at that and like I was watching it. I remember thinking about, oh, she's got the necklace on, but like when she's wearing it, it's green, and the Black Dahlia necklace in Far From Home is black.
It might just be the reflections in the.
It's got to be the reflections because you take actual black glass like that without having like.
No, I've seen that brought up online too.
The way that I was saying to Kevin, I think it's going to go down just because of her being like telling Peter that she loved him and then not letting him say it back. So like, you could say it to me when I see you again or whatever. Yeah. I think it's going to come out that he's going to like woo her or like whatever, and they're going to kiss. And then it's just like, everything's just going to go and just go back. And Doctor Strange being like, oh, the power of love is stronger than any type of magic. Blah blah blah.
I hope they wait 20 years when we have 2 more Spider-Man, and then Tom Holland comes back, and then they've reunited with Zendaya that way.
No,
you have to wait 20 years.
or something like.
You're not ending the movie with him and these characters forgetting those 2 characters specifically forgetting, and maybe Hap doesn't come back, but the other 2 not remembering him, and especially MJ, and not have them come back for the next movie and bring them back in.
And that could also set up for, say Ned's in love with her, and now,
he becomes Hobgoblin.
He becomes Hobgoblin because he's pissed off that now she's with this Peter Parker guy who came out of nowhere.
It's true.
Well, they're going to MIT, and he's still in New York City.
Yeah, there's plenty of crime in Boston.
There's crime in Boston, right?
Wicked crime.
Wicked crime. Oh man. So I love this movie, guys. I know from the talk you guys all did too. Yeah. We'll touch on the post-credit scenes before we wrap this video up. But did you like the inclusion of the Eddie Brock post-credit scene?
No,
You didn't like it?
no, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
I feel like it's kind of
I
a
like
cop
seeing Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso.
Well, I mean, I saw Let There Be Carnage, and I it's cool that they tied it in, but it doesn't make sense why he's there.
So because Venom said to him, Venom said to Tom
Brock.
Hardy, Eddie Brock, I have the knowledge of like 80,000 years of evolution, like stuff enough that would blow your mind. So like,
like a Venom knows who that Peter
Venom
Parker
knows who he is, and he's attached to him. What I think is a cop out is the fact that when he blinks back, whatever they're calling it in here, that a piece is left behind. Like, why didn't that go?
Why didn't that go back with him?
Yeah.
Wouldn't everything from the universe go back? Not just why would there be a piece there?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it could be. Well, they've already established in the Venom movies that the symbiotes birth other symbiotes. Maybe that symbiote was born in this world without actual knowledge of Peter Parker.
Okay.
I'd buy it.
Yep. If that's
So
how they think,
it's tied to that universe.
if it's not a piece, if it's a whole new entity, I'm fine.
You guys are turning me around on this.
I mean, how else are you gonna get the symbiote in there? Because you know that you gotta go. You know you gotta go Black Suit Spider-Man soon.
The conversation was gold.
It was good. So you got a man flying around in an iron suit,
and a tin suit, and
yeah, purple alien who's obsessed with rocks.
I was a little, truthfully, I was kind of hoping that Venom was going to end up in this universe, right, and just like kind of be the Venom of this universe.
I'm kind of glad they're going a different way.
Yeah, they sent him back. It's fine, but like it was funny to have him in the post-credit scene as just being there for a minute but never doing anything and then just getting sent back.
I want a less jokey version of Venom in the Tom Holland universe.
Why? It would just enhance Spider-Man's quips even more.
More turds in the wind?
You couldn't have had Eddie Brock fighting Tom Holland though. Realistically, like that wouldn't have been a good movie because they're both the Venom's supposed to be your hero in his universe. And Tom Holland's your hero in this one. It wouldn't make sense that they were fighting. Like I understand that Marvel has done that with Civil War or whatever, but like it just those two characters didn't make sense to clash in anyways. So I'm glad they did the route that they did to kick him back into his own universe. But
me too.
Yeah, I like that. And the second was obviously just the trailer for Doctor Strange, which we'll get into it another day. I don't feel like talking about the Doctor Strange trailer.
How do you guys feel about the new costume?
I like it.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like the new homemade costume?
It was too blue and too shiny. And I understand that's like it's funny because it's like comic page accurate, but like it looked like terrible to me. I was disappointed.
I interpreted it as like a combination of Toby's suit, Andrew's suit, and his own suit into like one, just like pieces of his experience into the new suit.
It was like sky blue.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, put some fucking color into it. Who cares? You need some fucking color.
Hey, he's poor now. He needs to get. Yeah. He can only get whatever material he can get.
Right.
Yeah. He has to make his own suit now.
That's true. Yeah, I'd say that was my least favorite part of the.
That was the least favorite. Oh man.
I don't know. I didn't love the suit.
I like the
suit. Was good.
I didn't love the suit, and I mean maybe the lead itself. I mean, because this whole time he's been setting up his own suits, and like they've all been pretty rad. And now he's just like, look at this bright blue suit. I guess it'll be worth it if it plays into it in whatever the next movie. They're like, here comes Spider-Man with his new sparkly blue suit.
Well, the big thing now is like his suits aren't all high tech.
Right, he had all stock tech for pretty much all the rest of the suits.
Yeah, so like he had to become his own man essentially, right? So like like kind of like
Spider-Boy becomes the Spider-Man.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Like his whole origin throughout this home trilogy or whatever you want to call it. Like now he's finally the Spider-Man that I've wanted to see since Homecoming. Like
I agree, and I get that journey for this character. It makes sense that that's where he is now.
And what a great fucking journey. Like, it's the best origin for any superhero I've seen yet.
I mean, I can go as far as saying I think it's from movie 1, 2, and 3, best trilogy in the MCU.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah, but that's not a high bar, honestly.
No, I
That, and I'd say Captain America.
Yeah, that was my next one. Just Winter Soldier's so good.
yes,
Yeah.
Winter Soldier is the best of the Cap, but like, so where do you guys fall? I guess the final things here are: where does this movie fall now that you've seen it? Is this your favorite Spider-Man movie, or is this like where did this movie leave you guys?
I'm going to reserve judgment. Like I said before, I love Spider-Verse, but I've seen it so many times. Like, I want to be able to sit down with a copy of this movie and be able to just like nerd out and dissect it and pause it where I want to, and like, just stupid little things like that. But I mean, it could definitely beat it out. Who knows? But then again, we got another Spider-Verse coming out, so
who knows?
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
It's up. If it's not there, it's close.
Yeah,
it's close. Yeah, definitely.
Matt.
And I think it is. I think to me it beat both Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Verse. So I think it is my top. It is my favorite Spider-Man movie now.
I am all there with you, man. I agree 100%. It jumped as soon as I saw it. Like in the movie, I knew it was. That's how I could tell it was that for me. It jumped into the Spider-Verse for me. It jumped Spider-Man 2. It jumped up into my top 3 favorite MCU movies.
Right.
Like I got it up there with my top 3 favorites. So
yeah,
it's my favorite Spider-Man movie and my top 3 favorite MCU movies for sure. So,
and the fact that like like we said earlier, it is like this weird celebration of like 20 years of Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. And all of us were there at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's just that it's even more powerful than being there when you saw Endgame after being there for 10 years of the Marvel. And like, this is 20 years of just fucking everything good about Spider-Man.
Perfect fan service, right?
Yeah.
Fan service
done right. Service done right.
Fan service done right, and while not feeling like they're giving you just like what you want.
With purpose.
Right. It was perfect. It's
fan service with purpose that was perfect. That's pretty much what this movie is.
I agree. I think that it is
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for me too.
10 out of 10.
Got it up there. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Boston Movie Geeks. Thank you for watching this video. If you have the chance, please click that like button and subscribe to our channel. We'd like this to get to more people. So thank you so much, and we'll see you guys when we see you. Bye.
Bye.